It's all John's fault. It's all John's fault.
It is all my fault today. Hello, welcome to Tangents on Everything and Nothing. I'm your host, John Simon. This is our good friend, Jeremiah. And today, as if you've read the thing or haven't read the thing, I don't care if you have or not, it is about the review for Don't Look Up. You almost got that in unison. Mm-hmm. And we didn't practice, folks. No, we did not practice at all.
No rehearsals at all.
That's
we
right.
don't believe in them. Against our religion.
That's right. So against it. So, for those of you who don't know, there's going to be this thing called spoilers throughout this whole movie.
Yep. Don't watch this if you haven't seen the movie and if you care.
Yeah. Or watch this if you have high anxiety over things that get a little too real. Mm-hmm. Especially with the way things have been in the last several years. Having to do with pandemics and social media and...
They started this project before the pandemic started.
Yeah.
And that shocked me when I looked that up. It was like... They put the initial filming on hold because it was supposed to start filming in April of 2020.
How much do you think they... you think they did any rewriting?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, they did.
Now, are you sure, or are you just guessing?
I am guessing.
Okay.
But based on everything that's in this movie, yes. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Some emergency rewriting on the fly because...
Well, a lot of the little things could have just been B-roll stuff that they fit in anyway, so it wouldn't even have been the script.
Main, I don't want to say the main plot point was a rewrite, but there was definitely little things added in that really hit home because of the pandemic, but would have made sense without it. Like the movie, in my opinion, was about not trusting the experts. And
well, that's like a sliver of the movie. That's one part. It's not just about trusting. It's how is it handled.
Yeah.
Even by the people who do trust it. Then it's not even do they trust it. Is how do we make money off of this? Then outside of that, how do we make sure it's all feel good so we keep those ratings? And how do we get all those likes? And how do we get people to hit the notification button? Speaking of, like and subscribe if you can on whatever platform you're listening to this on. It's on Twitch and YouTube at the moment, and we'll soon, the following day after this is recorded, because right now we're live, we'll be on Anchor, Spotify, Google Play, Apple, and a few other podcast areas.
Yep.
So,
I had somebody ask me for the podcast links over the weekend. So, of course.
Anchor.fm/timeofyourhalflife.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Spotify link I gave them, YouTube links I gave them, and
So. And I'll be nice and give another shout out to Sol Miguel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sol.
Adding into our Patreon. If you'd like to go ahead and sponsor one of these shows, there are possibilities on that. You can check us out at our Patreon link. You can check us out at timeofyourhalflife.com. That should also have a link. Or you can email us at, what's that directly below us over here? It says right here, Radioactive Shack, Time of Your Half-Life, don't forget the hyphen.com. Yeah. So, back to the review. This was a star-studded movie. I'm kind of wondering, there were so many names in this, you either had no budget because you paid everybody, or this is what is referred to as a... Oh, there's a name for it and I just totally lost it. Basically, an actor's supported movie, which is what happens there is you want to keep your name relevant, you want to stay in there, you want to be seen all the time, make your own movies. And a lot of actors do that so that they sit there and they stay relevant. So they have a movie coming out every few months because they've got a whole production crew that's making movies. Whether they're good or bad, your name's out in front so you get attention, and that probably gives you a good chance of getting hired by somebody else.
Yeah.
Which is why I think this movie is one of those, because it has... Who's not in it? It's probably a shorter list. Nicolas Cage isn't in it.
I'm not the person to ask. Gilbert Gottfried.
He might have been. But you have Meryl Streep, you have Jennifer Lawrence, you have Leonardo DiCaprio, you've got Ron Perlman. This list goes on. There's a whole bunch of people in it. So I'm more of I do like I don't like seeing the same person in a movie over and over and over again. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, not really a fan, but he did an excellent job playing a nerded out, geeky, anxiety-filled scientist.
Yeah.
I mean, phenomenal job. I have seen him in several things where he just drops the ball halfway through and loses the character.
No, he was He was great. I'd go so far to say great from the beginning till the end.
Yeah. Jonah Hill was pretty much Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep was phenomenal as Mrs. Trump. Oh, did I say that out loud? Yes, I did. She basically plays the President of the United States that has that sort of mentality and attitude. Just absolutely phenomenal. It was just great. And I'm not a big fan of her. She does a good job. She's just not like on my list, if that makes any sense. Jennifer Lawrence, the mullet was ugly as fuck, and that was great. Because it wasn't one of those, oh, look, I've got a mullet and I'm trying. No, she just, they tried to dress themselves up as being poor college kids or professors and did a really good job of it.
Yeah.
Poor
doctoral students.
Doctoral students.
But
because, they definitely don't have any money yet.
No.
Yeah.
And that, spoiler, doesn't have any money at the end of the movie either.
Because you don't need any money. Guess what? Everybody dies. Everybody dies.
Minus like 32 people or something.
Well, no, they sent 2,000 people out, had a 57-ish% survival rate, but are on a planet where they know nothing about. They're all naked. What's the first thing they do? Oh, look at this cute little creature.
Okay.
Because Meryl Streep gets eaten by a
Brontorak.
A Brontorak.
We don't even know what that is.
We'll get to that, but let's go back. So Jennifer Lawrence's character is doing her doctoral thesis work and trying to watch supernovas, and something gets in the way of her images. It doesn't really get in the way, she just happens to be lucky enough to have a comet passing by
God,
she's looking at.
Comet appears right in the middle of everything. So, being students, let's calculate its trajectory and its speed. Oh, great. It appears like it's not moving. And it's going pretty fast from what we can see.
Oh, no, you don't mean it. It is moving. It's moving pretty fast. It's approximately 5 to 10 kilometers, and it's good. Wait, there's a 0 point in here. What's the 0 point? Okay, everybody's dismissed because teacher panics.
Yeah.
Long story short, it's going to hit the planet in 6 months and 14 days. So set your date schedules. Sorry.
Diet?
Your diet, yeah.
Yeah.
So Jennifer Lawrence basically knows it's the end of the world. Sets her phone as a reminder to track her diet, which ends on the day the asteroid hits.
Time.
Yeah. Well, in those situations, what does somebody do?
Let's tell the government.
It's not just let's tell the government. Let's inform the proper authorities.
True.
Proper authorities, this is something that seriously needs to be peer reviewed. You need to have somebody else sit there and calculate the numbers. Because
make sure there's no mistake.
Right, because that's what science does. They're not always right, but they try to back themselves up. Right?
Somebody else check my work. Look at notation, see what you get. They got the same thing.
Yeah. So to wrap things up a little bit and move faster, they go to NASA, which takes them to the president. The president blows them off for a day and then comes up and says, well, this isn't that important because we have midterms coming up and my blah, 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 blah is more important than this. We'll see you in a couple months after this.
Yep.
Well, the story goes, their Supreme Court justice isn't making it in, so to hide the Supreme Court justice, they tell everybody the world's going to get end. Supreme Court justice gets
they signed an NDA first.
Oh, yeah. NDAs were great.
And then the main characters ignored the NDA because, well, we got to do something about it. So they get arrested.
Yeah.
And then, and only then, when the Supreme Court justice doesn't get accepted, then the government comes out and says, hey, this is happening. Yeah. These are our heroes.
Yeah.
Just complete flip-flop, not unlike the government.
And they're put on social media and televised, and it's one of those, welcome to whatever the story is in the morning, and we're going to tell you how everything wonderful is, because it's always a joke, isn't it, right? World's going to end. Oh, that'd be great. Oh, yeah, is that a book or a movie? No, this is real. And they basically get steamrolled into it. They're just pushed off. Memes were made. But to wrap it up, they basically they have a really hard time fighting everything tooth and nail, which divides. You have 3 categories. 1, it's not real. 2, it's going to miss us. 4, we're all going to fucking die. And it's treated very much how you would expect it to be in today's modern media. It's ignored, or it's profited off of, or it is literally scaring everyone to death.
Every opportunity is an opportunity. Yeah. And somebody's going to try to take advantage.
So in that, when the government finally says, okay, let's do something about it, they don't do it simply. They decide we're going to deviate this by blowing up a whole bunch of nuclear missiles next to it, and that'll push it on its way. And they send Ron Perlman, because he's from that time.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman is an ex-Marine?
Something
like
decorated
that.
War hero.
Decorated war hero. So one of the scenes you see him, he's having 8-year-olds do like calisthenics. He's like, "Come on, you pussies, you gotta be doing." He plays the part wonderfully, and it's going to be his job to be the sacrifice, which isn't necessary because radio controlled guided.
But the
crap.
government, it looks so much better if there was a sacrifice.
They
so many
need-
more percentage points.
They need the face. It's all about thumbs up, percentage points, money.
Yeah. Not so
and-
much money because that part comes later.
Well, we're not there yet. It's all
Right.
about money. You're just talking about more money. More money. But Ron Perlman has this great racist speech going up like, I'd like to thank all the white people down there. I'm doing the best thing for it. And this is also, I'm doing this for those Indians, both kinds too. Why didn't they ever get together?
The casinos and the other ones.
The casinos and the camel riders. Oh, God. Ron Perlman pulled that off wonderfully. Makes you just want to hate that character or love if you're that sort of person.
Right.
And this mission is stopped because, now we'll get to the point.
Because
Money.
of capitalism.
Right. This asteroid is basically worth somewhere around
14 trillion?
140 something trillion.
Well, the rare materials just
Combined, we're talking everything.
yeah, and then the common materials, but the amount of common materials
Is ridiculously.
Yeah.
I mean, it would blow the complete world economy.
Mm-hmm.
But because you have your combination Jobs, Bezos, Musk, can you think of any other billionaires?
All of it. Trump, Gates.
Well, he didn't really remind me of Trump in any way because he actually was smart. He may have ignored you and thought you were stupid, but I mean,
He had. There was something
he
about
had
him.
serious anxieties. And he basically runs this cell company,
Yeah.
and so they basically pitched the idea of, well, rather let's get it to land safely on Earth. Air quotes for those who are listening to the podcast. By blowing it up into smaller chunks.
We can blow it up into about 48 or so different chunks that, yeah, it may kill some people when they land, but it won't destroy the planet.
They
but
gave
then we
Chile, 90 billion to allow it, the tsunami to hit there?
Yeah. Yep. $90 billion
Yeah.
to let this happen. And they agreed
Yeah.
because
Money.
even if, 3% of them survive and
Yeah.
3% of people will always kind of find a way because money, then those 3% will be fabulously rich after that.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I don't even I think it's 1%. I mean,
It
maybe
probably-
less than that,
yeah,
actually. And they only had room for 2,000 on that backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hey, those are spoilers.
yeah,
We'll
for
get
those
there.
we're doing spoilers all the time. For those of you who actually know a little bit of science, if you take something big that's about to hit the planet and make it into a whole bunch of small parts, you didn't make it better. You made it worse. Because that means a whole bunch of small things are going to hit, not only heat up the atmosphere, do all sorts of wonderful destructions, but you're going to spread it out.
Mm-hmm.
Not that a 5 to 10 kilometer chunk of raw material hitting the Earth at 27,000 miles an hour isn't going to be an extinction level event.
Yeah, but getting hit by birdshot hurts a lot less than getting hit by a buckshot.
Yeah, you need to do the science on that one because this isn't buckshot. This is beyond buckshot,
Well, you
'Cause-
get my point.
and it's wrong. It is scientifically wrong because what happens is you're making it worse because when you have all those things suddenly entering, rather than one heat source, you have 100, 1,000 heat sources that are literally going to torch and just
How easy would it be to survive that versus a planet-wide earthquake?
the largest single would be much better to survive than blowing it up into smaller ones.
Okay.
Yeah, you should look into that.
I-
It's not a buckshot thing at that point. It is literally just the amount of momentum, the amount of surface area you are changing. You're still going to have some large chunks. You're still going to have the tsunami. It may not be as big, but you literally just brought the temperature of the planet up a couple hundred degrees rather than, for a longer period of time rather than a shorter period of time, you're still going to get the 1 to 2 years of winter after that, if anything survives. And this is big enough to where you're back to microbes, small rodents, maybe some lucky reptiles, and some fish at the bottom of the sea surviving. And even if, whether it's the large chunk or the small parts, anything over a few grams is probably toast, especially long term. Because if you blot out, okay, when the dinosaurs was wiped out, they were looking at somewhere between 2 to 5 years of winter. That means no plants. That means, okay, sure, your scavengers are going to last for a while, but there's only a finite amount of food.
Yeah.
And one thing they got wrong in the movie was how quickly the whole world was enveloped. With where it hits in South America and where a lot of the main characters are in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's still about 9 to 12 hours for the shockwave to come hit you.
They spent a lot of time in Washington, but they were from Michigan.
Yeah. Well, Washington, because that's where all the wheeling and dealing is being made. That's where all the pitching is being made. So when they finally get to this, they fail on trying to make everybody rich. The ultra rich get boarded on a 2,000 passenger ship to the nearest habitable planet.
Forgot the conspiracies in the middle there.
Oh, there's tons there. We got plenty of time to talk about that.
Okay.
We're basically covering it. We've been talking for almost 20 minutes, and all we're doing is like, this is what the movie's about, and these are the fucked up parts. Then we can get into the details where we talk about the
Don't look
up. So we can backtrack. We can go. Where does the title of the movie come from? Don't Look Up.
So when Bezos, I'm just throwing a name out there because I don't remember his actual name in the movie.
Yeah, don't even worry about it.
He has this idea to split the asteroid into lots of smaller parts, creating jobs for everyone, creating just rare materials to boost technology and stuff like that. Well, it fails. So at this point, the government tries to convince everyone that this is just a hoax. There's no reason to be afraid. It's just a hoax.
Because we'll get it to land safely, and
Right.
it'll be minimal casualties.
We've got other plans.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. But then the main characters are driving throughout the night, sitting on rooftops and stuff like that, and you can literally see it up in the sky.
Yeah.
So they start this social media campaign that says, you can see it in the sky. Just open your eyes.
Look up.
And then the counter argument to that is, well, these people are wrong. They're trying to make you afraid. My freedom is to not be afraid. You shouldn't look up.
So
don't look up.
Yeah.
And like almost two equal sex. And
it works very much like the anti-vaxxer idea of, well, why do I need to do this? Why do I have to wear a mask?
Or Black Lives Matter.
That too. Yeah.
There's so many parallels in this movie and other, like, anything going on in society. You could draw this. There's just so many parallels. I kept hearing quotes. It's like, that fits well with this, or well, that fits well with that argument.
Well, the problem is a lot of these are false arguments. It really pushes the aspect of how social media has twisted to really fit and find, thanks to those fucking algorithms, your own personal bias, so that you hear echo chambers. Everything you hear is what you want to hear. Is everything that makes you feel good, because I can't breathe because of that mask. I shouldn't have to wear that mask. The mask is giving me CO2 poisoning. All conspiracies that. And so in this fact, it does the same thing. It's like, well, you just don't want the jobs to come here. You are just trying to hurt the economy because this is going to boost everybody. There's not going to be a single poor person anymore, which that's the only truth, because you're right. There won't be any poor people in the Met because they're all going to be dead. And the way they put it together in that manner, they literally show how easily people want to, either because they're afraid or they feel they're losing some freedom that they don't have, or are completely distorted on what that freedom really is. And they turn it into a campaign. It's like, so it's this one big pitch. Hey, since I know you like me, I can say whatever I want, and you're going to believe it because it's going to make you feel good. And
Yep.
Merca, yeah. So you have the people at the top going, "We're going to be richer than rich," and you have the people in the middle sitting there going, "Oh well, you know, this is going to." I'm for the asteroid. We want the jobs. What jobs? Honestly, what jobs?
Yeah.
Then you have the people who are like, you know, same level, going, we need to find a way to survive. You just screwed us. We're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go eat turkey dinner.
Yeah.
Then you have the people who are completely oblivious because they either totally refuse or just are out of the loop or don't have the capabilities of
Right.
plugging in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sin would you say is most embodied by this movie? Of the 7 deadly sins, the traditional 7 deadly sins. Pride, greed.
Oh, I think it's a combination between. Oh, there's even lust. I mean, come on, because they literally just they fall all over the. It's not only the fact that the Leonardo DiCaprio's character falls in line, pushes the narrative, and ends up having an affair with one of the newscasters. It's the fact that everybody is just so. They have the gluttony because they want this. They have the greed because they'll get richer, and they lust after the power it'll give them, and the pride that they'll.
Yeah.
How can you dare hurt me in this
I'm
manner?
not wrong, and I can't be proven wrong.
Right.
And even when I am proven wrong,
I'm not wrong.
We sentence you to jail.
Yeah. You know, you signed this piece of paper, so you either get off the grid, or we prosecute you because we have all the money to go after you.
Yep.
Which in reality is more of a threat. Not that they won't lock you up and throw away the key. Doesn't matter what your side of the version of the story is. They just want you to maintain whatever the narrative it is. So obviously the movie brings up a lot of anxieties. It brings up a lot of emotions. And you said it's not unhappy?
Correct.
How is it not unhappy? This is very much an unhappy movie.
Because there's so many cliches and so much satire. I found myself laughing over and over and over.
I was laughing. It is absolutely hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those, oh, great, I've got a coping mechanism kicking in, so I'm going to find it funny is how it is unhappy. Because it's, you're right, it's filled with cliches, stereotypes, more recent stereotypes. Blatant, not hiding what they're trying to say.
Absolutely current stereotypes, like a month ago.
Yeah.
There was things in this movie that showed up in social media and the mainstream media a month ago that hadn't been there previous to that.
Yeah.
And it's just so current. I can't.
Yeah, they did a really good job. And that is how it is an unhappy movie.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I've only watched it once because I wanted to keep that initial aspect for this. It's tangent because I have to. It's getting bad reviews.
Bad critical reviews or bad popular?
Critical reviews.
Huh.
Like, under expectation. DiCaprio's character was terrible. Lawrence's hairdo was bad. Oh, this is just poking fun at the last administration. For a reason. That doesn't make it a bad thing.
No.
It was executed really well. They made their points, because you could actually say Meryl Streep's character follows the last 5 presidents in their attitude to make sure everything's spot polished and neat and in order.
We can't present bad things to the public.
But at the same time, it was definitely hit on the Trump administration because it was her son that was the chief cabinet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that never happens. Isn't that nepotism? Nepotism.
Yeah.
So it's fine if you didn't like this movie. If you love this movie, that's fine too. But it actually has, as ridiculously overloaded with stardom, it is a very serious message.
Absolutely.
Whether you get that or not, that's your own fault, because they slap you in the face with it. They literally come up and tell you you are stupid.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, at first you think they're going to get it. Like, oh my God, this happens. Then they go to the government. Right at the beginning, the government says, no, not a big deal. It's okay. Well, we're gonna make it a big deal. That's the first slap. It's like, if you didn't understand this then, we're gonna give it to you now. And then the news media. I think she's a little crazy, but I like this guy. He's
Yeah.
cool. Can you come back on and say the same thing again?
Right.
Or say it slightly different. And that's second slap.
You need some media training is what you need, boy. Yeah.
And again and again and again, they try to get their point across. They try and try and try, and
I just can't.
fearing for their life and the lives of their friends and family, they do it over and over and over again, and no one wants to listen. So at the end of the movie, they give up, and that isn't an unhappy part.
Yeah.
I would say the overall message of the movie isn't an unhappy one, though. It's determination, it's grit, it's we've got to keep trying. It's perseverance.
No, they give up.
At the very end,
They give up because they're literally saying no
nothing-
matter what you do, it's over.
and
To
it's
the point
up
where
and-
even the people who make it off planet and go to the next habitable one, you realize that's a Douglas Adams reference there because you just put all the phone cleaners and all the the filing cabinet people all on the same planet, and they don't know how to do shit.
yeah.
All they know is money, and God, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, let's move on to which actor do you think did the best job?
I'd say probably Jennifer Lawrence's character.
She did very well. Yeah.
As a PhD student, she still had that student mentality all the way through the movie. It's like, I can make a difference. I'm going to go and I'm going to present my case. It's like my thesis argument. And then they blew her off. And in traditional student attitude, well, I'm going to get high, and then I'm going to try again.
So that was one of her first lines was, I gotta get high.
Yeah.
Well, we're missing a part where she's actually given up. She has totally given up. She's no longer in the media. She's signed the NDA. She's hiding from the world, and she's working at a liquor store, which is
I
then
thought it was a supermarket.
I think it was mostly a liquor store.
They were trying to steal booze.
Oh, what do you mean
But-
trying? They do. Timothy Chalamet Ding Dong came on, and he basically is playing some sort of beatnik
Yeah.
bum. Some say he's homeless. I just think he's a
He.
20-something that has nothing better to do.
Yeah, that's how I
You
would
know,
describe
so
it.
him and his friends are basically stealing. You know, they identify, oh, you're that chick. You're the crazy girl, aren't you? And she goes,
No.
yeah. And first she says no. Then she says yes. And are you going to buy anything? Well, they open up their jackets. They're filled with liquor. And she just turns around. Oh, what, are you giving the camera the eye to tell them what they're doing? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
And she lets them walk out.
And that just triggers him. Is like, how are you this cool?
Right.
And he ends up kind of falling in love with her, and
But she had completely given up at that point.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
up until she could see it in the sky. She
it becomes real again for her.
Right.
Yeah.
which her passion for astrophysics and all of that just gets reignited, like a college kid would, like a PhD student would, and then
I think you're giving people who have been in college more than just undergraduate school a lot more credit because, trust me, there's a lot of emotion and burnout by the time you get to your doctorate level.
Yes.
They aren't necessarily going to have that enthusiasm that you're projecting upon her.
she gives up, and she didn't have that enthusiasm. But then when it becomes so obvious that everyone else can see it, it gets reignited.
Is it enthusiasm or is it stress? It's portrays enthusiasm, but I think what she's actually trying to do is show her self-awareness and her general awareness of life around is what pushes her to it. It's not really more than I'm going to get gung-ho about it. It's more like,
Well, then they start
fucked.
that campaign.
Yeah.
Just look up. And they're in a big call center. They're taking messages, designing things, and she's there too. She's putting in effort.
Yeah.
She didn't have to,
No, but she did.
but she did.
But it took a lot for her to get back up on that road.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I really like the way she did. I like the way Ron Perlman performed. I really did. Was
Yeah.
he my favorite for the thing? No, he was really small bit, but he
Yeah.
played the bit well.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to give real credit again to Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not a fan of his because I think he was the pretty boy for way too long. He did an exceptional job here, but Meryl Streep playing the bitch she did was great. And I'm not a fan of her either, but they did a wonderful job. I'm going to clarify, I don't have to be a fan of yours to enjoy something you've done. If you want, I'm a fan of some artists, but I don't necessarily have to watch everything they've done either. I just end up with more of a bias towards those. So if I've got somebody who is really not on my radar, and you've got my attention like those two did, that to me is an exceptional thing to do. They really pushed that and moved it forward. Timothy's performance was a lot more teenager than I thought it should have been. But still, yeah, that was her coping mechanism. That's what he became. Was like, hey, you want to make out? No. Well, what the fuck? Yeah. Just like her lines like, oh, let's get high.
Yeah. Jonah Hill's character?
Jonah Hill's character was Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it fit really well because of what he was supposed to do. But that didn't make it stand out.
No.
Although I did love the fact that he's sitting there at the very end. Oh, mom's coming back for me. Yeah, she's coming back.
She just went to the bathroom.
He just went to the bathroom. And then she's on the rocket going, my son. Fuck.
Too late now.
Yeah. So he got left. Let's talk about, I can't remember the actor's name. I'm not going to look it up, don't care. But the guy playing the billionaire Bezos Musk character, he has all these weird anxieties. His introduction scene is him showing off this wonderful phone that's gonna know more about what you're gonna do that you want to do because all the algorithms take everything into effect and knows everything you want, and it'll play something because. And the phone interrupts. You're not happy right now. Watch this video. It'll make you feel better. And it shows a chicken and a dog, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, that was a great video. Didn't you think it was wonderful?" It's like, oh my god, he's that sort of way.
Yep.
So all these kids are standing on the stage with their phone and
product demo.
Yeah, product demo. And one girl says, "Oh, Mr. So-and-so, can I say something?" No. And as they're walking these kids off the stage, those are property of the company. You got to give those phones back. And these kids are just showing how much they were just used for it. But he is this person who has his own weird esoteric quirks. But because he's got the money, everybody listens to him. He is like one of the. He has access to the president because he's a premier donator.
Oh yeah.
And so he doesn't matter if she's on the toilet, he can come see her.
Premier donation
Yeah.
To the campaign or
something
like that.
So we know what that's targeting there. But he's literally got these programs, these phones to know everything you want, and the algorithm is a little too good, but that's because it's listening to you, so it feeds you everything you want to know.
Yep.
His algorithm is so good, it's going to tell you how you're going to die. This is going back to Meryl Streep's character, because it goes to Leonardo's character. Is how are you going to die? Okay, let's find out. You're going to die alone.
Yeah.
Which was wrong. He didn't die alone. He died with his family. But Meryl Streep, I want to know. How am I going to die?
I don't want to know.
Oh, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Tell me anyway.
Yeah.
No. And it's, you're going to get killed by a... Brontorak. I have no idea what a Brontorak is.
We don't even know what that is yet.
Fast forward, they land on the planet. We told you this before. It's like,
she pokes the cute fuzzy thing.
And the cute fuzzy thing was kind of like a griffin with rainbow wing feathers and
hippogriff, like some kind of
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it eats her face. Yeah, and that's what tells me that.
Oh my god, what kind of animal is that?
Yeah.
That's a Brontorak.
I guess it's a Brontorak because it kills her, yeah. But that's how scary his technology is. And he ends up with so much control, he's very much in a Musk position where he can try to dictate or complain. It's like, oh, I'm going to pay $11 billion in taxes. That's sorry, you owe more than $11 billion, mister. Shut the fuck up. You're only getting subsidized. You got $1.8 billion for more...
right.
Yeah. So pay more taxes, you rich people. Stop trying to take over everything. Let the people actually know what they're doing do it. All right.
Back to listening to the experts.
Yeah. And it is amazing how the experts are only there when they want them, not when they need them. And that's another point where they're saying, are you sure this is going to work? I don't think this is going to work because I don't have any peer review evidence on this. I don't have any
Yeah.
data. Oh no, it'll be fine. Our scientist says it'll work.
The scientist that works for your company.
A scientist that you paid to tell you what you want to hear is not somebody you want to listen to.
Yep.
Peer review is important. Science isn't 100% right.
Yeah.
Science always changes
They make
because
that point several times in the movie.
yeah,
Is that this doesn't count for anything until it gets peer reviewed.
Yeah.
This doesn't count for anything until it gets peer reviewed. I found this. Can you look at this? And sends it off to
I need
X or
somebody
Y.
to double check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, well, one of my favorite lines, and it actually comes from Jonah Hill, is, yeah, we're like 99.87%, so you're not 100%. Yeah, so if just because it's that 0.0 something, sorry, that's still damn close. You're not going to make that margin. You're
Nope.
yeah.
I enjoyed the movie. I got my one movie a year out of the way early, so now I'm good.
No, you watched that before the first, right?
Did I?
'Cause I thought you
When
watched
did I
like
watch
Friday
it?
or something.
It wasn't Friday.
Because you work Saturday, unless you watch it Saturday morning.
I don't think I did.
Did you watch it Sunday? Because you'd already watched it by that point, so it
I
couldn't
think
have
I
been
might
Sunday.
have watched it Thursday.
Haha, so that's for last year.
I still have to watch a movie this year.
That's right. I'd say we go for something. Let's go for something local.
What?
Find something. So anybody here in our area, Indiana or the surrounding states,
Yeah.
has a film they would like us to watch and review, send us a link. We'll
Yep.
hook up with you and give you a honest what we feel about it, and
Right.
rabble and babble and just drift on about however we feel. Camera's kind of weird. Look at how my hand's like squatted and short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We gotta do something about that camera. We need a new camera. Yeah. Hey, Doral, if you're listening to this, I need to come up and get my camera. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, if you send us your movie, I will watch it, and it will be one of very few movies I watch this year.
It'll be one of
the-
many movies I watch this
the
year.
elite group of movies that I watch in a year.
Yep. So, you know where to send it to, radioactiveshack.com. Yeah. It's
Right
actually
down
Radioactive Shack at timeofyourhalflife.com. Don't forget the hyphen.
I'm going backwards, but
You are, yeah.
it's in this
Yeah,
area.
you start here. So it's like, it's right there. Okay. People are like, what are you talking about? We can't, we're only hearing what you're saying. We can't
Yeah.
see it because you're listening to the podcast. by
So
this
for
point.
the listeners out there, that's Radioactive Shack at timeofyourhalf-life.com.
There we go. So one thing I can say about this movie is there won't be a sequel.
Hope not. Hope not. Oh my God.
Yeah.
When were we talking about sequels that didn't need to happen? Was that last week or the?
Yeah, last week.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be a funny sequel.
3 minutes and 27 seconds. Are you familiar with that musical piece?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. For those of you who don't get it, it's a silent joke.
So this performance artist sits down at a piano and takes a deep breath and sits there. And his art is that the audience noise, just the coughing, grunting, chair shifting, squeaking, that is the piece of music. So after 3 minutes and 27 seconds, he stands up, claps for them, and then walks off stage.
He's actually got a whole album with silent music. They're all different times. And there's no audience recording to this. It is just literally him keeping time for that 3 minutes, 17 seconds, 4 minutes, 44 seconds. He's got a whole bunch of them. Somebody had actually placed a silent track on one of their albums and gave it a title. He sued.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, he sued.
Well, of course.
Copyrights. Which brings us back to media. Yes.
And greed.
Hey, on that note, I know we're not talking about, we should be talking about the movie, but yeah, Winnie the Pooh became public domain.
Oh.
So what's Disney going to do about that? That's right, Disney.
What's not Kim Jong-un, but the Chinese leader, who always gets portrayed as Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
Xi?
was that she?
I think so.
Maybe. Sure.
Yeah.
All right, we've wrapped it up. So, again, if you have any sort of real anxiety about political, social, economical,
Catastrophic devastation
catastrophic
of the
devastation.
planet.
Yeah. This movie might not be for you if you get hung up on that things. If you can sit there and enjoy it like we did in our dark and twisted humor, yeah, I really do recommend it for that.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. Downsides to the movie was there's got to be a downside to it.
There's not a happy ending.
No, that's a good thing. Remember last week we were talking about
Absolutely.
no happy endings?
But
That's the whole reason.
People like happy endings, and I think people are wrong for that.
But that's the whole reason why I saw that, and after our thing about no happy endings, that we need movies with no happy endings, that showed up. I was like, oh, we got to talk about that because this is one of those movies without a happy ending.
Yeah.
Wonderful storytelling, structure is great.
Absolutely.
The way they combine everything together. Tangent again. The guy who's when they're sitting there and it's getting really close. They're days away from this happening. They're at a huge "Don't Look Up" event, and one of the red hat wearers looks up, sees the comet. Light bulb.
Hey.
They've been lying to us. Riots ensue, and everything goes mad because they finally realized they were basically being an ostrich and sticking their head in the ground.
What?
I know, right? Pacing, I think, was pretty decent.
It was a little slow at times.
Well, I think that helped you linger on the idea. I don't know if Timothy's character was really necessary.
I think it helped her accept everything.
It was a crutch, yeah.
And, well, she was having a hard time coming to terms with everything, but it's one of those last hedonistic pleasures she can get, and
yeah. Well, maybe his character could have been written a little better. It wasn't a bad character.
yeah,
It just was one of those. He's wallpaper. I mean, he really was. Then the twist at the end was here is this punk, anarchist kid, and he's like, well, actually, secretly, I'm an evangelical Christian.
was raised. Yeah,
Yeah, that was one of those. Okay, you could have shoehorned that in a better way rather than in
Just-
that manner. Yeah.
right.
I mean,
That was force fed to you.
yeah.
Although offering the prayer when I wish somebody would say a prayer, and he's like, I got this.
Yeah.
That was kind of nice. It's like, okay, you've gave that character just a little bit of meaning in that brief screen time he had. I did enjoy that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it could have been. I think it could have been written in better.
It could have.
Yeah.
I just like that finality, that the Last Supper. Not quite, but
Well, definitely the Last Supper, at least for them. It did give a bit of closure in that aspect for him. It did help in that manner. I think it was again shoehorned in. They could have found a better way to have approached that or brought it in.
I think they could have introduced his Christianity, devoutness to religion, however you want to say it. They could have introduced that better. Just hey, guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm evangelical.
Because that's kind of what.
Yeah.
A lot of people have complained. Oh, his character just comes in halfway through the movie. That's because that's when it becomes relevant for him to be there. You don't need to be following every single character and tracing 20 people till you get to the nexus when they show up.
Yeah.
No, if it's one of those, it would not have helped the story in any way. It would have added another 15 unnecessary minutes to it. So him coming in halfway through the film was fine because that's where his character was needed.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So for people complaining about that, it's like, well, they waited. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up.
I think they could have written out some of the Jonah Hill stuff.
He was Jonah Hill, okay, pulling Jonah Hill jokes, playing the real shithead guy who's trying to be funny who isn't.
The dumb smart kid or the smart dumb kid or
Yeah, a good mixture of those. He had his points. I think the best dialogue he had was when he was sitting there realizing that he got left behind.
Yeah.
His favorite line was, it's not 100%.
Yep.
But he had so much fluff and filler. Which, okay, I understand they were trying to drive the point home that he was a narcissistic, egotistical, especially when he gives the prayer of, I'd like to thank God for luxury apartments and stuff.
I think they
Yeah.
used him as the way to drive the plot, and I think it was plenty self-evident without him being there.
Yeah.
That's my opinion
Well,
on that.
With a few of his key lines were fine, but yeah, I do agree. They kind of just kept shoving it in your face here. Any other critical analysis you can add to that?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay, this is more of a problematic with plot, but they did it for visuals. There's no way NASA is gonna be able to get that many rockets ready to go
Right.
all at the same time twice.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're launching like 20, 30, 40, whatever rockets simultaneously. Twice. And they're pretty spot on with saying they expected like a 2%, 3% failure rate at launch, which is really low, but that's what they did.
Yeah.
And it was spectacular watching them all take off at the same time. No. They would have all taken off in increments at different pacings, not, well, let's just launch everybody up because
The second launch was all NCEPs.
Right. It really was, and that's where they actually had an error. And one rocket fails, takes out another, and they end up with I think 4 or 5%.
What's that game called? Yahtzee?
I was thinking Battleship. But
Okay, well,
or was it Dominoes?
no, that can't be it.
No.
No, that's the media brainwashing you.
Absolutely, damn pizza. So there's failures there, and that's where the failures keep cascading. And that's where you go back into the science. But yeah, they would not have launched like that. So I know they were looking for that great media, hey, let's have this wonderful takeoff. It did not do very well. They could have found a better way to.
A more scientifically accurate way.
But for time, it's like, let's just get it all off at once.
Yeah.
Like a $3 whore. It's Hollywood, right?
That's. Yep.
Yep. So I guess this did play in some theaters. It's available on Netflix. So go and chill and watch it if you want, or totally ignore it and hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So for the next few minutes, we're just going to talk about something else because unless you've got something else to add to it, I think we're done.
No, like I said, it's one of the few movies I've watched. We make jokes all the time about how bad my movie trivia knowledge is. This is one of the few.
So next week we're going to do movie trivia.
Video game trivia? What?
No, movie trivia.
Video game trivia? What?
No, movie. Movie. Besides, I mentioned video games you probably have never heard of.
Maybe.
Because you can't find them anymore, and they were only available in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yes, early 80s.
I've played some of those.
Some. Like Bard's Tale is probably the only one.
I played that one.
Yeah, it's probably the only one that I'm...
Name another.
Name another. Did you play Ultima?
Yes.
You actually played Ultima?
Yes. And the second one, and the third one.
Dialogue or the vector graph?
Both.
You played the okay. Doubt it.
Played it on my computer on an emulator.
You would have had to.
Of course I did.
I played it on an Apple IIe.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. Too many. So, what was your favorite old stand-up arcade?
I played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. Played Street Fighter. Played the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as an arcade game one time. That's about the only arcade games I played.
My favorite was Tempest, or still is. I just don't find it anywhere anymore. But I remember, going to the local,
What's it called? They remake it like every 2 years.
Vanguard.
No. Christ.
Oh, was it
You play a character, you get to choose a class like fighter, rogue, wizard, you go kill monsters, you level up.
Elf needs food badly. No?
No.
Does it ring a bell?
That one does, yeah. That might be it now that. What is that?
I'm waiting for you to look it up. So I remember playing Moon Patrol. You probably don't even know that one.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
It's not Rampage. That's a different
No,
one.
Rampage is the monsters that they made the really bad movie of. Boy, did they screw that movie up. No, we're not even going to review
It's
that
not
one. Thank you very
Exodus.
much. It's definitely not Exodus.
What's the name of it? If you know it, please type it in the chat because it's going to drive me nuts.
I have to log into the chat. Keeping it quiet here. So while he's looking this up, other video games that I've played that I liked a long time ago, Dig Dug was a great one. Everybody loved Pac-Man, Defender. There was it Zion or something weird like that, where you play this craft that just floats through and tries to get through the
I'll have to look
mazes.
it up later.
Then there was Star Wars, the original Star Wars video game. When it was really bad vector graphics, and you actually had Darth Vader's control or whatever. And even though you're flying an X-wing, right? And you're going through and you're skimming the top of the Death Star, and you're hitting the towers, and then you do the trench run. And it wasn't one of those, I'm going to go this way because I want to keep going. No, it was one of those, you're really set. The computer's going to force you to go this direction, and then it puts you in the trench, and you have people shooting in front of you and behind you, and that was a fun game. I liked that one.
I think I played that one, and I didn't understand it, but I played the video game because I remember going in the trench and
it was nothing like the old X-wing or TIE Fighter. Those were great too, but you're also talking almost a 15-year plus difference.
Star Fox.
Star Fox was a good one. Yeah.
Took a learning from that. That was a good game. Star Fox 2 not so much, but the original Star Fox was great.
Too many old video games.
So many old video games. I've got to go.
Defender was good.
I've got to go through a list because somebody wants to play some old.
Missile Command.
I've heard of it, not played it.
Oh, that's a fun one. Now, I played Missile Command when it was the roller ball on the top, not just the dials. Those were great. So Missile Command, these missiles are coming down, and you have 3 bases you have to protect, and you have to take the area and blow up the missiles before they hit. It was great. Yeah.
I guess another arcade game I've played is Golden Tee.
Golden Tee.
It counts. It counts.
I didn't say it didn't.
I know.
Oh, I got one for you. I played this on the Apple IIe. It's 3 Mile Island.
Okay. I've not heard of it.
It is literally you run a nuclear energy power plant, and parts break, repair them, make a budget, turn up the power, reduce the power, make a profit. If you make a profit, you can buy the parts to repair it. If you don't make a profit, you don't have any money to buy the parts to repair it, and then it melts down. It's all time too. It's like, and I knew a couple people who learned how to play that game and literally just make money off. You're not making real money. Don't think that way, but actually beat the game by being efficient and knowing, oh well, I see the demand is increasing. We'll go up to 300 megawatts. Oh, it's still increasing. 500 megawatts. It's driving down. Okay, 400 megawatts. 450 because it's going back up. And they would learn the cycles of the day, and they got really good at it. I couldn't get to run for more than a month, game time wise.
Right. There's a game called Top Gun for the NES.
Oh God, no.
It's completely voted as like one of the stupidest, most difficult video games that should never exist. What you do is you fly this plane, you shoot down other planes, and then you land back on your aircraft carrier. Landing on that aircraft carrier at level 3 was impossible for humans. I've seen TASS's not do it right because there's a luck factor. It's just complete. It says you must be going 278 knots, and then slow down at this bell curve kind of thing. And if you slow down and you have your angle just right, you will still crash because luck wasn't on your side. It just.
We're gonna have to do a whole show on video games. So we'll get together with Sam, and if anybody else is interested in getting on video games, we'll talk about that. We were hopefully next week. It may be a couple weeks out. We'll have Owen Valley Winery out here to talk to us. We are broadcasting and recording in the Owen County Public Library. So give them a shout out. Check them out if you can. Hey,
check out.
You can rent free movies here.
And video games.
And video games.
And CDs.
And these things called books, and magazines, and
the physical copies.
Yep.
And the digital copies.
And for those who can hear it, there's violin practice upstairs. So that sometimes comes over our feed. They were going a little earlier. There's also things that happen here at our library. So definitely check out your local library if you're not in Owen County or wherever you're at, because it's still a wonderful resource everyone can use.
Yep.
So we're going to say good night, Grace.
Good night, Grace.
And we'll see you, or you'll hear us in next week, same time, 6:30. And don't forget to check out Sam Sculpts on Twitch as well. He's been doing a lot of great stuff with his sculpting.
I think that's what he was doing tonight, right? Getting.
Oh, that's what he was doing this morning. Like
Okay.
he started. He broadcasts late at night because that's when you can get new people to watch you. It's great. So when I mean late at night, I'm talking early morning.
Yeah.
So
Preem streaming hours.
yeah, and
Between midnight and 5 a.m.
yeah, so he had started somewhere around there, and I decided I would check it out because I was up. And all it says, we'll start in 15 minutes. And that was a 59-second long video. So check him out. Check us out. Thanks for listening. You're going to get to listen to a little bit of music from, what was his name? Shane Ivers. And next week, we'll hear from us again. Thanks for listening. Bye, everybody.
Stay warm.
You're supposed to say that thing.
Hit the thing. Hit the button.
All right.
All right, this is Colin. I won't be able to get in tonight.